An empire across 3 continents. Third chapter of history. In this video, we will study the sources to understand Roman history, boundaries of Roman Empire, division of Roman Empire, the political history of the Roman Empire. The sources to understand Roman history. Roman historians have a rich collection of sources to study, which we can broadly divide into 3 groups: text, documents, and material remains. Textual sources include histories of the period written by contemporaries. These were usually called annals because the narrative was constructed on a year-by-year basis. Letters, speeches, sermons, laws, and so on. Documentary sources include mainly inscriptions and papyri. Inscriptions were usually cut on stone, so a large number survive in both Greek and Latin. Material remains include a very wide assortment of items that mainly archaeologists discover through excavation and field survey. They are buildings, monuments, and other kinds of structures, pottery, coins, mosaics, even entire landscapes. Papyrus and papyrologist. The papyrus was a reed-like plant that grew along the banks of the river Nile in Egypt and was processed to produce a writing material that was very widely used in everyday life. Thousands of contracts, accounts, letters, and official documents survive on papyrus and have been published by scholars who are called papyrologists. Boundaries of Roman Empire. To the north, the boundaries of the empire were formed by 2 great rivers, the Rhine and the Danube. To the south, by the huge expanse of desert called the Sahara. To the east, river Euphrates, and to the west, Atlantic Ocean. This vast stretch of territory was the Roman Empire. That is why Roman Empire is called an empire across 3 continents. The Mediterranean Sea is called as the heart of Rome's empire. Division of Roman Empire. The Roman Empire can broadly be divided into 2 phases, early and late, divided by the 3rd century as a sort of historical watershed between them. In other words, the whole period from the beginning of Roman Empire to the main part of the 3rd century can be called the early empire, and the period from the 3rd century to the end called the late empire. The political history of the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire was a mosaic of territories and cultures that were chiefly bound together by a common system of government. All those who lived in the empire were subjects of a single ruler, the emperor, but they followed various cultures, regions, languages, and races. Many languages were spoken in the empire, but for the purposes of administration, Latin and Greek were the most widely used, indeed the only official languages. Augustus was the first emperor who established monarchy in 27 BCE. He was also called the Principate. Although Augustus was the sole ruler and the only real source of authority, the fiction was kept alive that he was only the leading citizen. Princeps in Latin means leading citizen, not the absolute ruler. This was done out of respect for the Senate. Senate was the body which had controlled Rome earlier, in the days when it was a republic. The Senate had existed in Rome for centuries and remained a body representing the aristocracy, that is, the wealthiest families of Roman and later Italian descent, mainly landowners. Next to the emperor and the Senate, the other key institution of the imperial rule was the army. Romans had a paid professional army where soldiers had to put in a minimum of 25 years of service. The army was the largest single organized body in the empire with 6 lakh soldiers in the 4th century. The soldiers would constantly agitate for better wages and service conditions. These agitations often took the form of mutinies. The emperor, the aristocracy, and the army were the 3 main players in the political history of Roman Empire. The success of individual emperors depended on their control of the army, and when the armies were divided, the result usually was civil war. Except for one notorious year, that is 69 CE, when 4 emperors mounted the throne in quick succession, the first 2 centuries were free from civil war. External warfare was also much less common in the first 2 centuries. The empire inherited by Tiberius from Augustus was already so vast that further expansion was felt to be unnecessary. The only major campaign of expansion in the early empire was Trajan's fruitless occupation of territory across the Euphrates in the years 113 to 17 CE, abandoned by his successors. The Roman Empire had 2 types of territories. They were dependent kingdoms and provincial territory. The Near East was full of dependent kingdoms, but they disappeared and swallowed up by Rome. These kingdoms were exceedingly wealthy. For example, Herod's kingdom yielded 5.4 million denarii per year, equal to over 1,25,000 kg of gold per year. A city in the Roman Empire was an urban center with its own magistrates, city council, and a territory containing villages which were under its jurisdiction. Thus, one city could not be in the territory of another city, but villages almost always were. Villages could be upgraded to the status of cities and vice versa, usually as a mark of imperial favor. One crucial advantage of living in a city was essential commodities were better provided for during food shortages and even famines than the countryside. Public baths were a striking feature of Roman urban life, and urban populations also enjoyed a much higher level of entertainment. For example, one calendar tells us that spectacular shows filled not less than 176 days of the year. Thank you.